Hey everyone, this is Rachel and I'm here with another process video. As you can see, I'm starting off with this We Are Memory Keepers piece of paper, and I'm going to take some clear gesso, and then for some reason I think I'm putting clear gesso on a paper the size of my living room, and I put a ton of clear gesso down. I am in love with this clear gesso, but I did not need to use this much clear gesso. I'm going to end up taking a brush out. This is a brush I have specifically for gluing and gessoing things. I don't use it for any paint. It does become rather stiff. I'm going to cut away from that while I work it all in and then let it dry. It does not take long to dry. And then I'm going to go ahead and trim off my branding strip there. Now I'm going to use a plethora of mixed media on this particular layout, which is why I wanted to get a very good coat. And there's Xanthi saying hello. And I have these two photos, a 4x6 and a 4x4. And I'm also going to be using this piece of paper, also from the We Are Memory Keepers Honey I'm Home collection. This is my August Scrap Room kit. I get the Doubleshot Kit, which is the smaller of the two kits they offer. And I wanted to use this piece of paper, but what I did was where I cut it was just a little too small, so I am going to end up trimming down my photos. So I have this other piece, and unfortunately, I don't remember if I remember to show you the pieces of paper. I have completed this I've completed this kit. I don't have the branding strips anymore, so I apologize. I cannot remember if I remember to show you this or not. So as I said, I'm going to trim down those photos just so you can see the chevron-y piece of paper below them. And I had in my mind what I wanted to do with this layout, and it actually turned out the way I thought, so I was super, super excited. Now, because that background paper is so busy, I want to give your eyes a break. So I'm trying to decide if I want to use a thin border of gray or a thin border of white. And then I realized I actually like to have a little bit of both. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put a very tiny border of the dark gray and then a very tiny border of the white. And then I'm considering whether I want to add that other side of that heart paper, which is that very rigid polka dot, but I decide I don't want to do that. So I cut away from that, but what I did was with the white paper, I cut the white border out so that way I could use that as a bordering piece in another layout so I wouldn't lose that aspect of it. And then I just matted my photo on the inner portion of that. So once I trim this down, I'm going to go ahead and do the exact same thing with the gray paper, except I don't think I got that. I think I just used the outer edge because I don't remember. I will be totally honest. I did this layout a couple of weeks ago, and I don't remember. We'll see in 1 second. Let's find out together. What did Rachel do? I just did it to the outside. Aha! I used it as a full sheet. Now I remember, because I used that background page, the pattern paper as a background, I was not going to have enough paper for a fourth layout, so I just decided to go ahead and trim that off as is. Yay me! Alright, once I get that done, I am very happy with the way this is looking. This is one of those ones where it goes catawampus in the middle, and you're not quite sure if it's going to turn out okay, but in the end, I really, really like the way this turned out. Now, oh, thank you, Sadie. Sadie wanted to chime in. All right, I'm going to get my paper layers all laid down, and then I'm going to start working on the mixed media portion of my layout. Now, you're going to get a bright light. What ended up happening was we blew a fuse, and we had to turn on our fuse, so you got this wonk of light. So I apologize for that. All right, I am using this stencil, and this is from, oh, sugar. It's a French company. It's like Kenzie or Kensei or something like that. I don't remember. Hang on. I might have it right here. Let's see. Do I? Yes, Kasai art or Kasei art. I don't know, but that's who it's by. And I'm using my Tim Holtz Ranger texture paste. I'm almost done with that bottle, thank goodness. I've already picked up a second one, so don't worry about it. Now, while that's drying, I'm going to go ahead and put out my title, which is House on Blank Street. It's not actually Blank Street. It is the street my housemate grew up on. As I've mentioned before, the person I refer to as my nephew is actually my best friend's son. We share a house. We have a sister relationship, in case anyone was interested. But I've mentioned before the city they live, or the town she grew up in. And while I'm sure 99.9% of you are perfectly normal human beings who would never think of going to an old woman's house, I'm sure there are a couple of nut bars out there that might do it, so I'm just not going to share the street name on YouTube. All right, moving on. I'm going through the Heidi Swap September Skies die cut pack that I added to the add-on embellishments to go along with my scrap room kit. And I pulled out a bunch of the floral pieces. This house was built in 1880. It was actually built by my housemate's family. So it's been in their family for 130, 120 years, something like that. Please don't make me do math right now. So while that was drying, I pulled all that stuff out, and now I'm going to continue with my mixed media. I'm going to use some distressed inks in, what is it? It's Evergreen Bow and, oh, sugar. I don't remember what the other one is called. It was one of the new ones. Cracked Pistachio. That's it. Cracked Pistachio. And then also in Chipped Sapphire to bring that blue and the green. After I do that, and I add it to both corners, I'm going to go ahead and spritz it with more water and then let it drip. And I probably should have stopped before I did that. In the end, it turns out fine. Like I said, this is one of those ones where halfway through I'm going, oh, I don't know about this one, but it does turn out nice in the end. I'm very pleased with it in the end. I am going to go back and add a little bit more of the green because it did overwhelmingly become blue. So once I do that, I'm very happy. Well, I'm not very happy. I'm okay with it right now. I end up being very happy with it. But for right now, I'm just going, well, we're just going to work with it. Oh, and I found out that Xanthe ate my tape again, so I had to fix that. And I don't know who's messing. Okay, I would like to apologize if you hear all that noise in the background. My ferret Simba is in a bubble wrap mailer, and he is very much having a good time in there, so I think he's gone to sleep now, so we're going to move on with the layout, and I apologize for the crinkly noise. I split a doily in half and added it to either side of my main photo thing. Now you saw that I added ATG. That is not to glue it to the back of my mixed media background, because I know it's going to need liquid glue for that. What that is so I can tuck little pieces behind, and also so it won't fly around as easily as it would if there was no glue on it at all. So I've got these acetate and cardstock pieces from the September Skies Heidi Swap line, and I'm going to use that in the upper left hand above the photos, in the lower right hand, and then on that photo that has a lot of green space on it for my 3 little embellishment cluster areas. While I'm doing this, because I will be totally honest, this goes on for a little while, I'm going to chat with you guys about what's coming up on Saturday. Now, on Saturday, it is Get Sketchy with Christy and Rachel, the collab video series I do with Christy Harriman, and we are coming up on our 1-year anniversary, so that's super awesome. We will be having some special things going on each of our channels, so I hope you will tune in and watch that. That's an important one if you're someone who watches periodically. If you want to, if you're interested in maybe getting a little something, you might want to watch that one on time. So now that I've finished adding all of that, I'm going to take some liquid glue, and I'm using quite a bit because with this mixed media, because I've got the clear gesso, and then I've got the texture paste, and then I've got the ink, it really needs a good amount of glue. Once this is done, I have you can see that blue mat on there. I actually stuck it underneath that mat to kind of press it down, and then I put my laptop on top of it just to keep it down. I'm starting to work on my title, and at the same time I'm starting to embellish because my title is on the larger side, and these wood veneers that came with my scrap room kit are also on the larger side. I wanted to make sure they would work well together. I am going to end up using this floral piece, and I am also going to end up using that heart. I believe I have to glue them like 3 times before I finally manage to add the right amount of glue to get them down, and I also have to put weight on them. So I got my teacup, and I'm using that as a weight for various pieces because I have so much mixed media background pieces on this. So I'm starting to get other things glued down. Now, this is one of those videos where I get to the end, I show you it all, and then I remembered, oh yes, I wanted to add that. So if you stay tuned till the picture is at the end, you'll see at the bottom below the word street, I did add a few more, what I ended up adding were branding strips down at the bottom there to cover up where the ink went that I had not gessoed. So I pull out from my little handy dandy mini alpha holder, which is actually an Ipsy bag that I took from my housemate, and I'm going to use those navy snap letters. And I am so sorry, my animals apparently were smacking up my tripod and I did not notice, so I apologize for all the shakiness. So I'm using that for the word the, and then also for the word on, because as I said, the title is The House on Blank Street. Once I put that down, and the reason I pulled that down to the bottom is I wanted to make sure the name of the street would fit, and it did, but I just needed to work that wood veneer around it. Okay, so now I've pulled out these Mombi chips, which are just chipboard stickers. I am going to add extra glue because, as I've repeated over and over again, with the mixed media, it's really important that you add some liquid glue to it besides just some ATG or the self-stick stuff itself. I add one of those to each of my embellishment clusters, and now I've got the rest of these die cuts from the Heidi Swap September Skies, and I'm deciding if I want to add more below the title, and I decide I do. So I add a couple of those floral die cuts, both in the transparency and in the cardstock. And, oh, my housemate was leaving, so she handed me the remote. I don't think she realized I was taping. That happens. What are you going to do? And I'm going to use my tiny attacher once again just to reinforce the sticking power of the glue. Now, once that is done, I'm just going to trim that part that hangs off the layout, and start to add my finishing touches, like these puffy stickers that came with my Scrap Room kit. Now, I am almost done, but I do want to put a little bit of journaling. I'm just writing down the year her family built the house and that it's been in her family since that time. So here it is where I think I'm complete. Once you... Oh, I do add some enamel dots. Of course, I add enamel dots. Hello. So once I add those enamel dots, I think I'm complete. So I'm going to show you some close-ups. Oh, I'm going to add more glue. Yeah, we've reduced ourselves to candles. Oh my gosh, I totally forgot. Like I said, I'm sorry guys. This narration is a bit nut bar. I forgot. I decided I wanted to add these wood veneer butterflies. The house has a beautiful garden, and there's always butterflies and birds and all around. So I thought that was important to add the bit of nature to the layout. So once I do this, I do believe I consider myself done. It won't be until you see the final photos that you'll see the papers I added at the end. Okay, now that you've managed to get all the way through this, thank you guys so much for joining me here today. Thank you for subscribing. If you could flick me a thumbs up, that would be super awesome. I will have another video up for you on Saturday, a Get Sketchy with Christy and Rachel video. So have a great day, everyone, and bye!